This is a typical GMAT question about inequalities, and such a question can be quite difficult if you try to solve it by separating out several cases, and then you need to remember all kinds of inequality signs and several numbers. So actually that's not what we're going to do. We're going to take a different method, and if you apply this method on your GMAT, when you encounter an inequality question, you always get to the correct answer. So you are given some information, a plus b plus c greater than 0, and the question is c greater than 2? That's the question asked. What you're being given is that a plus b plus c greater than 0. Now your first piece of information is that c minus a is greater than b plus 2. What we're going to do now is we add the two inequalities. So we just add them. So we write a plus b plus c here and 0 there, and we add them. And you can do that as long as the inequality signs point in the same direction. And that's the case here. So if we add the left-hand sides, we get minus a plus a cancels out, so this cancels out. We get two c's, and we get 1b. On the right hand side we get b plus 2 plus 0, which is just b plus 2. Now the b's cancel out on both sides, so we get 2c is greater than 2. Dividing by 2 on both sides, we get c is greater than 1. So we very quickly and very conveniently and very straightforwardly simplified two inequalities to one simple inequality, which reads c is greater than 1. The question is c greater than 2? And knowing that c is greater than 1, we cannot answer this question because c can be, for example, 1.5 or c can be 3. So we don't know whether c is greater than 2. So the first piece of information is not sufficient to answer your question. The second piece of information tells you that a plus b plus 3 is smaller than 0. Now this inequality sign and this inequality sign point in different directions. So we first need to make sure to have them point in the same direction, and then we can add them. So what we can do is we can multiply everything by minus 1 in this inequality, because if you multiply by a negative number, if you remember that, we actually discussed that in session 1 of our course, the inequality sign swaps. So multiplying by minus 1, you get minus a, minus b, minus 3, greater than 0. Writing this inequality below that, you get a plus b plus c greater than 0. Adding the two inequalities, minus a plus a cancels out, minus b plus b cancels out, and then you get minus 3 plus c is greater than 0. Adding 3 on both sides, you get c is greater than 3. And knowing that c is greater than 3, then c must definitely be greater than 2. So the second piece of information is sufficient to answer your question. And your final answer is going to be B. Only the second piece of information is sufficient to answer the question asked.